The D minor prelude is another of these absolutely wonderful prelude, which I feel is too often ruined by a performance which is trying to put virtuosity on a work which simply doesn't want it at all. I've almost always heard it play somewhere along those lines. That's how I was taught it as a child, and that's what I would hear in most recordings. I gradually became dissatisfied, and once again it's only when I understood more about tempi in the Baroque period that I got closer to what I wanted instinctively, and it's more something along these lines. This is more or less what I was doing, and then one day I discovered an aria from a very famous cantata, Herz und Leben, or something like that. It is famous because it contains this. But it doesn't contain just this. It has an aria for violin and soprano, I think, which runs something like this. Something like this. And I heard this, and I didn't know it until about 2 years ago, and I thought, that's it. And between it and it, I made this connection, and then the preludes fully clicked onto me, and I think what Bach was trying to create is that sort of sound world derivated from the violin. It comes once again, like all the preludes we have seen so far, from the Clavier Büchlein. And in its earlier form, it's interesting actually, exactly the same, but the piece stopped rather abruptly. And I did say, when we were discussing the C-sharp major prelude, that Bach usually revised and improved in his revision. And here he expanded it absolutely fantastically, so that the prelude opens up to a new emotional dimension in what is effectively going to become the second half. So he greatly extended it. So if I take from the same part, instead of closing, he opens it up. And we have a climax. And so on. So in some ways he has totally transformed it. He has made a good piece into a great piece. This speed that I take, of course, goes with a completely different expressive take. I mean, I'm not going at all for the machine, as you could hear, but it also enables me to try to subtly highlight the inner voice contained in the texture. Because once again, this prelude is based on a formula. That is quite clear. Within this, there are voices that emerge and disappear. It's very fluid. And that speed means that I can bring all this to life. I find this prelude, I've always found it deeply satisfying. It is one of my favorites of those preludes based on a pattern. The fugue is a somewhat lighter piece. It's 3 parts, quite emotionally neutral, tendance sad, but not sad, hint of melancholy, a twinge. It offers, I would almost say it offers nothing very remarkable, but that's not quite true. There are 2 things which really are worth mentioning. For the first time, we have a subject which has something rhetorical about it. You will hear. So we have this pause, this lift, and this gap, which seems a little bit surprising. We will see many of these type of fugues. You will see sometimes fugues which are constructed on subjects which are of one piece, and some where you can see that a sort of pause separates 2 elements. But it has something else which is in some ways even more remarkable. It is the first fugue which uses a technical device which is part of the fugue writing, but that he hasn't done so far, which is called the mirror. Mirror is very simple, is that if you have 3 notes going up, the mirror is going to be 3 notes going down, and of course the opposite. So the subject in its normal form starts going up, and with this leap upwards. In its descending form, it does. So everything is reversed exactly as if you had set a mirror, and that, you can see above and you can see below. And you will have a great interplay between those things. For example, in this moment, so you will have sometimes in its normal form, sometimes in its inverted form. And because the texture is very lean, you can really follow this. It's not like when the C sharp minor, you have a 5-part fugue with 3 subjects, so you know that something is going on, but you can't know what. Here you really, if you pay a bit of attention, you can really hear the subject, and you can really hear its mirror form.